Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the second session on Agile methodology. Today we'll be covering user stories. Yesterday I told you that user gives us the theme as what he wants as a final product. That needs to be divided into user stories as per the user requirements. I gave you certain examples of user stories as a user, I can back up my hard drive. As a power user, I can have my reports on my dashboard. These are certain user stories. These user stories are the heart of the development because these user stories gives us the user requirements which help the development team to develop a high quality products. These user stories are further divided into tasks. There are four important parts of any user story. Who is the end user? What they want? What are the expected benefits? And what is an acceptance criteria? There are three C's to write a user stories. The first C is a card. The stories are traditionally written on a notepad and the cards are annotated with estimates and tests. The second C is a conversation. The details of the story come out during conversation with the product owner so that it has all the details of what are the expectations of the customers. The last C is a confirmation. That is what is an acceptance criteria, what confirms that the story was coded correctly. The characteristics of a story are defined through four parameters. The first is D, that is a detail appropriately, that is through conversations with the customers and the product owner, the document is prepared correctly with the expectation list of the customers, and that is correctly made into independent user stories that are not dependent on each other. The second is estimates. Depending upon the complexity, the risk, uncertainty, the amount of work to be done, every story is given the points or is categorized as small, medium, or large. The third is emergent, that is providing a flexibility in the user stories. As we know that Agile methodology is flexible and allows us to change the scope. So during the conversation and as the project is enhancing, there could be the changes in the user stories and there should be a provision to add those user stories to the theme. After adding these user stories, there is a need to prioritize them as per the estimates so that the product has a higher value for the customers. Invest is a term for the user story coined by Bill Wake, which talks about the characteristics of a good user story. The first is I, for an independent, that all the user stories should be independent. That is what is important for Agile methodology, that instead of taking the whole project at a whole, we divide the project into modules and each module should be independent of each other so that as per the priority, the modules could be implemented and released to the customer, giving value to the customers. Second is negotiable, that leave or imply some flexibility. We know that Agile methodology is about accepting the changes quickly, and therefore, as the project progresses, it should give you the provision to change the user stories as per the customer needs. The third is valuable. Identify the value to the customer and not developers. So the features that you are adding to the user stories, that should have value for the customers and not dependent on the developers. Estimates, enough details to the estimates are very important so that you are able to estimate the user story correctly. The user story should be small so that they can be done in a single iteration. Lastly, testable acceptance criteria should be identified. While prioritizing the user stories, they are further divided into four categories, and the first one is must have. The most vital things you cannot live without, the project cannot be done without them, they are getting the highest priority. The second is should have, the things could consider as important but not vital, must have over a long run. The third is could have, the things that are nice to have but can be of lower priority. Won't have the things that provide little or no value, and you can give up on them, or they are basically the waste and should be avoided while doing the works of high priority. User story estimations, as I said, are dependent on the efforts, that is amount of work, the complexity, risk and uncertainty. The estimation are given as estimated by giving points to it or by categorizing them as small, medium and large. The different techniques of estimation are planning poker, t-shirt sizes, Fibonacci series, relative estimation, gut feeling and dot voting, disaggregation. How does the team estimate? The customer reads the story, the team discusses and asks the questions and come up with their estimates. If the estimates are not same for the different team member, the team member discusses on the estimates by the each member and repeat this process until the team estimates come at a consensus point. The task being done by the Agile team is put up on a dashboard. So the product backlog will have the different user stories. And of these user stories, what is presently in progress, what has been completed and what has been closed or which has been released to the customers. So this is an example of how the information radiator or the task board looks like, where you have different sticky notes being used to talk about what is ready for kickoff, what is the work in progress, what is out for delivery, what has already been done. So this is how the project stories are written. They contribute to delivering a product of high quality. Thank you.